Imagine waking to a horizon that glows before thought itself has time to speak. A horizon where clouds part like curtains and reveal citrine palaces floating in silent majesty above the world. This is not an escape from reality, but an invitation to remember a deeper one, a realm where light teaches luxury how to breathe, and silence carries meaning. As your awareness rises through the golden air, each breath feels polished by radiance, and every step forward seems guided by an intelligence older than time. These celestial structures do not dominate the sky. They harmonize with it, reflecting the truth that beauty does not conquer but aligns. The corridors shimmer with amber warmth, reminding the wandering mind that abundance can be gentle, that power can whisper, and that peace is the highest form of wealth. In this place, motion slows not because time is absent, but because presence becomes complete. As you drift higher, the palaces reveal themselves as symbols rather than destinations, mirrors crafted from citrine and golden marble that reflect the inner architecture of consciousness itself. Staircases spiral like intentions refined by clarity, halls expand like thoughts freed from fear, and every glowing surface invites you to soften your resistance to wonder. Luxury here is not excess, but precision, the careful placement of light where it heals rather than blinds. Gardens bloom with crystal flowers not to impress the eye, but to remind the soul of its natural symmetry with creation. Each petal hums with quiet energy, suggesting that growth does not require struggle when alignment is present. Above the clouds, the noise of urgency dissolves, and in its absence you hear something rare, the subtle rhythm of your own awareness returning home. Suspense emerges gently, like a question without words, as the golden heaven begins to test your willingness to receive. What happens when nothing demands you rush, perform, or prove your worth? What unfolds when luxury is offered without price, and light expects nothing in return? In this stillness, the mind searches for familiar tension, only to find none waiting. The absence feels strange at first, like stepping onto a bridge made of trust rather than stone. Yet with every moment suspended between sky and self, you realize the palaces are not holding you up, your belief is. This is the turning point where awe becomes responsibility, where beauty asks not to be admired, but embodied. The citrine walls seem to pulse softly, as if aware that recognition has consequences. Here, the message of awaken the universe becomes tangible, no longer a phrase, but a lived sensation. To awaken is not to add something new, but to remove what dims perception. The golden light reveals how much of your life has been spent bracing against imagined gravity, forgetting that consciousness is designed to float. As the palaces glow brighter, a realization surfaces that this celestial realm exists because you are capable of perceiving it. The universe does not awaken alone. It responds to attention, to intention, to the courage to see beauty without suspicion. This moment lingers, suspended like the palaces themselves, waiting for you to decide whether wonder is a visitor or a way of living. In the glow that follows, understanding deepens as the sky itself seems to listen, responding to every softened thought with expanded light. You sense that these floating sanctuaries are rehearsals for perception, training grounds where the heart learns to trust abundance without fear of loss. The luxury surrounding you is not separate from humility. It is humility refined, showing that reverence and radiance are not opposites but partners. As clouds drift below like forgotten doubts, a quiet certainty forms that you were never meant to crawl through existence. You were meant to rise gently, carrying gratitude as weightless wings, and to remember this vision whenever the world feels heavy. This remembrance settles softly, preparing you for revelations yet unseen, and leaving a golden echo that continues long after the clouds close again. Within that echo, patience grows, perception widens, and the journey quietly promises that what you have touched will one day touch you back. Nothing is lost here, and nothing waits outside your becoming any longer now. As the vision deepens, the golden heaven begins to feel less like a distant fantasy, and more like a slow unveiling of something that has always been near, patiently waiting beneath ordinary perception. The citrine palaces no longer appear merely as structures of light, but as living expressions of order and intention, shaped by a harmony that does not announce itself loudly, yet governs everything gently. The air carries a warmth that does not burn but reassures, as if every particle remembers why it exists. With each step through the radiant halls, the sense of separation between observer and environment softens, and the realization grows that you are not walking through this place, but awakening it through attention. Golden reflections move across the marble floors like flowing thoughts, reminding you that clarity is not stillness, but a graceful movement toward truth. The further you drift, the more the palaces seem to respond, as though the architecture itself listens to your inner state. When curiosity replaces expectation, doors of light appear without effort. When reverence replaces control, pathways unfold effortlessly. Suspense builds quietly here, not through fear, but through anticipation, as if something essential is about to be revealed, but only when resistance fully dissolves. In the heart of this luminous realm, the gardens expand wider than before, their crystal flowers glowing with an intensity that feels intentional. Each bloom appears to hold a memory of joy, not dramatic or loud, but steady and enduring. You sense that these gardens exist to teach patience, showing how beauty matures when it is not rushed. Time seems to stretch, then fold inward, creating a moment where past and future lose their authority. In this suspended awareness, a subtle question arises without language, asking whether you are willing to carry this light back into the density of everyday life. The question lingers, creating a gentle tension, because the answer requires responsibility rather than admiration. The universe, it seems, does not reveal its luxury to entertain, but to entrust. As the citrine glow intensifies, you feel the pull of deeper understanding, realizing that abundance is not granted by possession, but by alignment. The palaces float because they are not burdened by fear of falling. Their elevation is not defiance of gravity, but cooperation with a higher order. This realization brings a quiet shift within, where striving loosens its grip and surrender becomes strength. The phrase, "awaken the universe," echoes again, not as a command, but as a reflection, suggesting that awakening is reciprocal. As you awaken to the universe, it awakens to you, mirroring back the depth of your attention with expanded possibility. Yet suspense sharpens here, because awakening is irreversible. Once seen, the light cannot be unseen, and comfort in old limitations begins to feel hollow. The corridors seem longer now, not to delay you, but to allow integration. Every step asks you to release another layer of assumption, another inherited belief that scarcity is natural. The golden marble beneath your feet feels steady, reminding you that trust must be grounded to endure. Above the clouds, the sky remains endless, yet you sense that infinity is not overwhelming when approached with humility. The palaces do not promise escape from the world below, they offer preparation. Their luxury teaches discernment, showing that refinement begins internally before it manifests externally. As the light softens into a deeper amber hue, the realization settles that peace is not the absence of challenge, but the presence of meaning strong enough to carry you through it. This understanding arrives quietly, without ceremony, like dawn entering a room without knocking. The suspense resolves not with spectacle, but with clarity, revealing that the true transformation has already occurred. You are no longer simply witnessing a golden heaven. You are learning how to recognize it wherever awareness is honored. The citrine glow lingers as an inner compass now, guiding perception beyond illusion, and preparing the way for the final unfolding that awaits beyond the next breath. As the final layer of understanding unfolds, the memory of the celestial citrine palaces no longer feels distant or symbolic, but intimate and active, like a frequency still humming beneath perception. The golden heaven above the clouds has completed its role as a vision, and now resumes its deeper purpose as a guide, reminding you that awareness is the true architecture shaping every experience. You move forward carrying a refined sensitivity, able to sense where light flows freely and where it becomes obstructed by habit or fear. The universe feels closer now, not because it has moved toward you, but because the distance you once imagined has dissolved. Each moment becomes a threshold, offering the choice to react mechanically or respond consciously. The suspense that once lived in wonder now transforms into a quieter intensity, the awareness that every thought participates in creation. The citrine glow lingers as discernment, helping you recognize when beauty is genuine and when it is merely decoration. You understand that luxury without meaning fades quickly, while meaning infuses even the simplest moments with richness. The floating palaces taught you that elevation is natural when weight is released, And now that lesson asks to be practiced within the gravity of daily life. Challenges arise, yet they feel different, less like obstacles, and more like invitations to apply what has been revealed. You notice how attention shapes reality, how patience softens resistance, and how presence restores balance faster than force ever could. The phrase, "awaken the universe," returns again, now as a living principle, suggesting that awakening is not something you wait for, but something you enact. Each conscious breath becomes an act of collaboration with existence itself. The universe responds subtly, through synchronicities, clarity, and a sense of being supported rather than tested. You realize that the golden light never promised perfection, only alignment, and alignment proves far more powerful. Suspense remains, but it is no longer anxious. It is creative, the anticipation of what unfolds when intention and awareness move together. You sense that the world is layered, and that the celestial realm is not above reality, but within it, accessible through refined perception. Ordinary scenes begin to reveal hidden elegance, a quiet symmetry that echoes the citrine halls and crystal gardens you once walked through in vision. This recognition deepens humility, because beauty is no longer something to seek, but something to notice. You feel responsible, not for preserving the vision, but for embodying its essence through clarity, compassion, and integrity. The universe does not demand grand gestures, it responds to consistency. Small choices carry unexpected weight now, each one shaping the quality of awareness you inhabit. The golden heaven becomes a standard rather than a destination, reminding you that peace is constructed internally before it appears externally. As understanding stabilizes, the desire to escape fades completely, replaced by a readiness to engage fully with life as it is. You recognize that awakening is sustained through practice, not memory. The citrine palaces may fade from imagination, but their lesson endures, teaching that light becomes permanent when it is lived rather than admired. The journey concludes not with finality, but with continuity, a sense that awareness keeps expanding long after words fall silent. You stand grounded yet open, carrying the quiet confidence that the universe listens when attention is sincere. In this state, luxury becomes presence, and peace becomes a form of intelligence. The awakening completes itself not by ending, but by becoming ordinary, woven seamlessly into perception. If you are benefiting from our topics, please subscribe, like, and turn on the bell notification so you can see our new videos early.